Hi guys, and welcome back to LPB Racing for the WEC Replica Championship on GT Sport. This is round 2 at Le Mans for race 1. So let's have a look at the grid and see what people's tyres running. So as you can see there, everyone on the softer tyre, apart from Techno at the bottom who's on the mediums. So we'll just run you through the grid. Callum on pole position in LMP1 then, so he gets the point for pole position in his class. Bidzster second place, Task 1 in third. Fourth is Jamo, fifth is Neil, and in sixth place on the grid is TY. As we look through the GT boys, then Seat 1 gets pole position and the extra point in that class. Then it's the two Jorex Aston Martins, the from Rodders and Firepower. Then it is Stacker in 10th and Techno 11th on the medium tyres. So let's get on with the race then, guys. Let's see how we go here at Le Mans. It's a 40-minute race, not 24 hours, so yep, don't have to worry about that. So we'll have to see how things go here. Tyre wear shouldn't be too much of an issue, but fuel will be, especially in the GTE class. As we get ready for the off, and we're off. Lights out, and we're off. And Bidzster gets a good start. Task 1 following him. Callum must have got a bit of wheel spin there. He gets a bit of a bad start. And in the GTE class, the Aston Martins take the lead as we go into the chicane for the first time. Bidzster goes in. Task 1 runs her really wide. He's trying to do the old circuit as Task 1 goes through there. And then we look at the. So Callum, Task 1, then we've got Jamo and TY having a nice little battle there. In GTE, it's Rodders from Seek 1, Firepower in third, Stacker in fourth. As we go into the Tetra Rouge corner, then onto the Mulsanne straight with the chicanes. Obviously, was altered back in 1989. The 1989-1990, the chicanes were put in to try and slow the cars down, but today's modern cars can actually lap the circuit just as quick as the old cars could, even with the chicanes in. As we go down the straight then, Bidzster from Callum, down the straight, onto this first chicane, Bidzster in the lead, Callum behind. Then we've got Task 1 and Jamo in a nice little battle here with TY also, and then the GT boys, they're still coming down the straight. Firepower from Seat 1, Firepower in second place. Into the chicanes, Seat 1 trying to go around the outside. Firepower gets hooked up on the curb and goes a bit wide himself. Stacker trying to get in there as well as they come out that chicane. Meanwhile, the LMP1 boys are down at the other one, and you can see here Task 1 just powered straight past Bidzster and Callum. So Task 1 clearly not saving fuel as TY goes into the wall. Don't know quite what happened there, but again, we'll get replays after the first lap. So yeah, Bidzster and Callum definitely in fuel saving mode then, and Task 1 not giving a monkeys about that. So we'll just get the little grid up for you here so you can see the fuel and things as we go along with the race. As we look at the GTE boys then into the second chicane. Firepower goes a bit wide. Stacker might have a good run here. Seat 1 trying to catch up to Rodders, who was pulling away at the front. Into Mulsanne corner then go the LMP1 cars. Task 1 leads the race from Bidzster, from Callum. Now Bidzster and Callum will probably be in the draft trying to save fuel most of this race, because if they can save fuel for a few laps, then it'll help them towards the end of the stint, that is. As we go down towards the next chicane, obviously we've got the fuel set on there, and fuel and tyres set higher than normal, so the tyres are on times 6 and fuel on times 4, so that's why we have to think about saving tyres and fuel to try and sort of replicate what had happened over an actual stint. We're trying to scale the distance down. So as Bidzster goes out the corner with Callum behind him, no change in there then. As you go down with the other cars, the other GTE cars down towards Indianapolis and Indianapolis corner, through the little kink and then into Indianapolis, the left-hander. Seat 1 ahead of Firepower. As Rodders gets a little mistake there, Seat 1 will close up a little bit. Meanwhile, at the back we've got Stacker and Techno having a nice little battle at the back. Techno on the medium tyres, remember, so a different compound for him. As we go into the Porsche curves then, and then round the Corvette curve on the exit there, Corvette curve, and then Bidzster's having a little look at Task 1 here, but I don't know whether he'll overtake or not, because I would imagine Bidzster will be quite happy to save fuel behind Task 1. Task 1 struggling to save fuel here because he runs different driving aids to all the rest of us. You can see them all flashing down the bottom right. Again, that is nothing to be ashamed of. In this group you can run what you want, as long as you're nice and clean, friendly guy and friendly racer, then everything's okay. As we go down the straight then, so we've gone across the line in towards the chicane, in towards the first chicane, and Bidzster goes for the inside and misses breaking point, almost takes out Task 1 there, and Callum says thank you very much, I'll take that position. And Bidzster's trying to fight back now on the inside, but Bidzster has to fall back into Callum. So Jamo trying to close up in the Porsche in 4th place, as they all go up through the S's and up over the top towards Tetra Rouge, onto the back straight, onto the Mulsanne straight. Bidzster and Callum very close together as we look back at the GT boys. We've still got the same order back there. Oh no, Stacker's gone back to 11th, so Stacker must have made a mistake in the chicane. So we'll just get a few replays of those first lap incidents in now. Okay, here's a replay of what happened to TY on that first lap then. So we're looking back from on board with Jamo in the Porsche, down towards the second chicane. So we hit the brakes in a minute, wait for it, now, and then TY brakes a bit later, but then has to avoid him because obviously he didn't expect Jamo to brake that early, so TY just hitting the wall in avoidance. Okay, here's a replay of what happened to Stacker on lap 1 then. So we're going down towards the Ford chicane for the first time. He just leaves his braking point way too late, almost locks up, goes really wide, and then that's how Techno got through. So as we come back from that, Tass wants to lead, Bidzster up to second, Callum back to third now. As we go into the first chicane, all very nicely through there. Again, people have to be watching the fuel and washing the tyres in this race, mainly fuel in this one, and it's good now that Gran Turismo updated the graphics, so you can see on the bottom where the fuel gauge is, on the bottom left of the screen you can see there's a little battery icon, so that's how you can now see how much battery there is in the cars, which is good. Obviously we didn't have this when we did the race, the update was about a couple of days after we did this race, so yeah, you can see they're charging up. As we look at Callum's car, then you'll see it goes red as he's using it, and then the charge goes down. So it's really good to see that. It gives us a good idea of who's saving out much battery and who's not. As we look back on the GTE boys then, Seat 1 in the lead from Rodder's in the lead from Seat 1. Firepower having a look at Seat 1, no, not leaving him alone. Absolutely harassing the back of Seat 1 here. Out of the corner, the Aston Martin got a good top speed here over the Porsche. The Porsche hasn't got the very best of top speed, but it's good at saving fuel, obviously. As Firepower pulls out, Seat 1 obviously in a different fuel saving map here. A little bit, I think, or unless he's turned it up, because he's running level pegging with him now. As Firepower looks to the other side, we'll just keep with this for a minute. As you look at Firepower going down into the second chicane. So the pit window on this one, guys, lap 5 to 7, so it's a short pit window because it's quite a long track and there's less laps. As we look further back, we've got Stacker passing Techno then into a 10th place. So Techno gets relegated down to 11th. I don't think those medium tyres are going to be helping him out at all. As we look at the other cars then coming into Arnage, they're already at Arnage. TY having a good little battle back here with Jamo. And then Callum closing up to the back of Bidzster. But again, I wonder if they're just quite happy to sit behind Task and save fuel. So if you look at Task's fuel, he's just under 3/4, and Bidzster and Callum are on 3/4. So they are saving quite a bit of fuel compared to Task 1 here. But again, it's whether you want to fuel save or whether you want to actually go for it, because Task 1's strategy here could actually pay out. So we'll see if actually going all out, all race will actually work. So as we go through the Corvette curves here, down towards the last chicane, a little bit of lag on the camera there, but okay. As we go down towards the Ford chicanes, into the Ford chicanes then, the last little bit of Le Mans. Very hard to get right because it requires a lot of mechanical grip, not much aero grip through this bit because it's slower, and then across the start finish line onto another lap. TY closing up to the back of Jamo, Neil Farmack losing touch in the Toyota a little bit further back. So it's Audi, Audi, Audi at the front. Audi, 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 Porsche, Audi, Toyota. That's the order in LPB at the minute as we go through the Dunlop chicane. All still running very close together here, so it looks like we're in for a cracking race here as we go down through the S's up to Tetra Rouge. Let's have a little look back in the GTE class. Rodder's still in the lead then. Rodder's still pressing on in the lead. Seat 1 obviously proving he's got the pace from pole position, but whether he's taking it a bit more easy in the race, trying to save more fuel. Look at Rodder's fuel, he's on half a tank. Seat 1 is just under 3/4, so he's definitely saving a lot more fuel than the Astons. So the Astons look like they're going to have trouble with pit stops here as Rodder's now defending from Seat 1. Seat 1 looking for a way through, and Seat 1 goes up the inside as Rodder's goes wide off the track, and Seat 1 side by side with him as Rodder's comes back on. Oh, close stuff. But yeah, the Porsche Marlboro team car goes in front of the Durex team Aston Martin. As we go into the chicane, lovely stuff there from everyone. Then we look, Techno is in 10th, Stacker's back to 11th again, so Stacker unfortunately back to 11th place, but hopefully be able to catch up as he goes a little bit deep into that chicane there, loses a bit more time. As we look back at the LMP1 boys, again Bidzster and Callum more than happy to sit behind Task 1 to save more fuel towards the pit stops, because remember, less fuel, even if you have less fuel in your tank towards the pit stops, it means you can go further, you can probably pit later on in the race and then have a quicker second stint, and you'll have a quicker pit stop because you'll have to put less fuel in. So again, good little strategies here in this one. As we go down over the top then, we've got Jamo and TY quite close. TY's right behind Jamo, practically pushing him along in that Audi. As we go into the corner then, Jamo in the Porsche, TY in the Art car, the Team Art Audi. Bidzster's his teammate in second place. So TY not doing as well in this one, but again TY is more used to the hard tyres than the soft tyres, so unless it's just TY struggling to get used to the car on the softs. But Neil's now up with these boys as well, so Neil is fighting back in the Toyota. So the team N&N Racing, that's N for November, so N&N Racing, Neil and Nick Racing. Unfortunately Nick Hash unable to make the races tonight, so team N&N Racing down to one car this time. We go out of that corner then onto this, the straight that leads to the Porsche curbs. Let's have a look back at the GT class then. Still, Seat 1 in the lead now. Seat 1 takes the lead from Rodders. Seat 1 is into the lead, then Rodders challenging back though. Look at the speed of that Aston Martin, looking up the inside in towards the second chicane. Into the second chicane we go, Rodders into the corner, oh, little tap to make good friends, and then Rodders goes wide as a consequence and goes onto the dirt, and Seat 1 says thank you very much, I'll take that back. So good little tussle here in GTE. Firepower a solid third position at the minute. Techno in fourth. Stacker unfortunately coming towards the first chicane, so probably made a few mistakes somewhere. So not having the best of time in the Porsches, Stacker there. So hopefully they'll be able to get used to it over time. The LMP1 boys start lap 4. So the next lap will be the start of the pit window, which is open for 3 laps, and then it closes. So not much time to pit. Here we go up to the Dunlop chicane. Task 1 takes a little bit of a shortcut there, but gets away with it. Probably lost more time over the little rumble strip, as Callum now pressurising the back of Bidzster. Again, very hard to phase. Bidzster under pressure here. We go through the S's and then down towards the Tetra Rouge corner, the little kink, the little lift in the LMP1 cars, and up and over. And good lines there from everyone as we go down onto the straight, so it's still the same order. So clearly everyone's trying to figure out strategy in this, save fuel or whatever they're trying to do. As you can see there, Jamo's got quite a lot of battery left out of that corner, so he's saved a lot of battery, so he might get a good run out of this next corner. So watch this space from Jamo. We've looked at Callum and Bidzster there, third and fourth. Let's have a look at what Jamo's battery is going to be like. Obviously everyone else has got like a half charge, and Jamo's almost got a full charge, and now he's going to use it all. Power! He's not using as much battery in that Porsche, so it's obviously the Porsche using its battery a lot better than the other cars. There's TY closing up again, drafting but not looking for a way through. Quite happy to sit behind and save fuel at this stage of the race. So the action will hot up later on in the race when the fuel saving isn't an issue and people start going for it a lot more. Again, this is the test of endurance, the test of strategy, the test of your head as well as your skill in driving. So Task 1 then with the fastest lap of the race, a 3:25.9. Bidzster doing a 3:26.3, and same for Callum, quite happy to stay in the draft at the minute. Let's have a look back at the GT. Let's have a look at TY actually, because he's right behind Jamo here. But again, not looking for a way through, quite happy to sit behind for now. As we go out of Mulsanne, that's where Jamo uses the extra battery just to get away a little bit more. See, but he's still got half a charge left in that battery, so it's still doing well here, Jamo. TY pulls out now, he's had enough now, it's got his turn to lead now. So TY was wanted to try and catch the other group in front, so use a bit of fuel to then end up saving a bit of fuel, because he has got a bit more fuel than the rest, but obviously he'll not know that. We know that, but he will not know that. Let's go towards Arnage then. There's a look at Bidzster and Task 1, so Task 1's still in the lead of this race. And if you look at the fuel though, Bidzster's got Bidzster and Callum on half the tank, Task 1's almost down to a quarter, so yeah, different strategies in play here. As we look back to the GT boys, so Seat 1 now with Techno in 8th place. So where's Rodders? I think, yeah, Rodders and, I think, yes, Rodders and Firepower have had to come into the pit, so obviously that Aston Martin not doing very well on fuel, so different strategies in place here. So clearly the two Aston Martins wanted to go for a two-stop race, are going to pit now, and then maybe pit on lap 7, the last lap of the pit window, to try and get the advantage over the others. So this could be a good little strategy here, whack up the engine and then do some fast laps. So we'll have to see how that works out for him. So the GT battle then a bit more null and void at the minute as Rodders and Firepower go side by side, and Rodders takes Firepower, so Firepower clearly happy to follow his teammate for now, and Stacker back in 11th place. I think is he pitted? I don't know. Probably put fuel in, not tyres, so we'll see how things go out in that anyway. As now the LMP1 boys are onto the pit window lap, so at the end so from now on the pit window is open for LMP1. It will close on the end of lap 7 as they start lap 8. So the end of lap 7 is the last time you can pit. Once you start lap 8, that is it, the pit window is closed. As Callum runs wide there, but gets away with it. As we go through Tetra Rouge onto the straight. Bidzster now putting in fastest sectors, so clearly Bidzster thinking now is the time to push a bit more to try and catch Task 1. As Callum now trying to stay with him. Bidzster then fastest lap of the race, 3:25.6. So Bidzster definitely putting the foot down then a little bit, trying to close in that gap a bit more. Get away from Callum, just trying to keep himself with Task 1 and not let Callum get his draft, but I think Callum's still within range for now. Yes, he is, you can tell from there. And look, TY's closed up onto the back of this pack as well. He's trying to drag Jamo along with him, but Neil Farmack, he's dropped back a bit, so obviously a couple of mistakes there from Neil. So unlucky there for him as Bidzster then comes through with Callum closing now, so he's not dropped Callum yet. Clearly whacked the engine up for a little bit, and now he's whacked it back just to save a bit more fuel. Go down towards the next chicane then, into the second chicane. Task 1 under a quarter, so I would imagine Task 1 would pit at the end of this lap, maybe, or maybe the next one if he can squeeze it out a bit more. But he's just done a sector that's 8/10 faster, so he's probably definitely going to come in this lap with looking at the pace. Bidzster's got enough in the tank for probably a couple more laps, and so's Callum, so we'll have to see what they do in this race as well. So again, it's all going to play out later on in this race. It's all about the strategy in this one. Let's see where Stacker is. Is he going to get lapped? Stacker's just coming down towards Indianapolis now. And the leader, Task 1, with Bidzster right behind him now in the draft. So Task 1 must have made a little error out of that corner. Bidzster closes right up to the back, but again, Bidzster will not try and pass because he'll just try and save a bit more fuel. Every little bit helps. As we go down the straight then, towards Indianapolis. Probably about half a lap away from catching up to traffic as Task 1 with a little bit of a drift out that corner there, but gets away with it as they come through Arnage again, wide again. Bidzster has a look, but to no avail, no way through there. Down towards the Porsche curves we go. All still line astern, all still saving fuel. Let's have a little look back at the Rodders and Firepower battle here. The two Aston Martins running line astern, so Rodders pulling his teammate along. They used a quarter of a tank already, so clearly wanting to push really, really hard in this stint to try and get to the end of the pit window. So look, here we are, the LMP1 boys all in a line, and Stacker's going to get absolutely mugged here. Stacker's going to keep one side of the... Here we are, all the LMP1 boys in one go. Bidzster defence, Callum goes, and then Callum tries to go with him. Task 1's into the pit, so Task 1 the first one to do well, not the first LMP1 boy to do a pit stop, that is. So Task 1 into the pit lane, then as Bidzster makes a mistake and Callum has to go around the outside to try and avoid him. TY now closing up, so TY closes right up to the back of his teammate. Bidzster pulls in front of his teammate and says, no you don't, not yet. I want to keep this position if I can. As we go up to the Dunlop chicane then, so Task 1 into the pit, so we'll have to see what happens later on in the race in regards to him. As we go down towards the S's and then up to Tetra Rouge. Through the S's, up and over the top. Callum with a good line through there. Bidzster closing up. TY backed off a little bit there, but again, probably trying to save fuel. Bidzster fastest sector. Would imagine Callum would be as well. Pushing hard now. Got to try and get the gap to Task 1 because he will be a threat later on. Well, we hope. So Task 1, this should be just about finished out the pit lane. There he is. He's just come out of the pit lane now. He's all done. Set of softs and a full tank of fuel, so that is his pit stop done. Hopefully, he might be able to get to the end of the race on this. We'll have to see. It's going to be close. So there's Jamo with Neil Farmack in front of him now. So Neil Farmack in front of Jamo. So Jamo clearly wanted to save a bit more fuel here, because look, got a lot less fuel in that Porsche than the Toyota has. As we look back to the leaders then, TY and Bidzster, then they're passing the Aston Martins of Firepower and Rodders. So Firepower just keeping the one side, just he might as well on the straight just be kind. You don't have to, but he just is. As we go into the corner, look, TY's got caught behind one of the Aston Martins. He has to wait to get past, and gets past on the power, and then down the straight. So TY lost a bit of time there, so I would imagine he'll have to turn the engine up to try and catch up, and then turn it back down again. Meanwhile, Bidzster and Callum still running line astern at the front. Now it's Neil and Jamo's turn to close up to the Aston Martins. Into Mulsanne corner then. Callum still ahead of Bidzster as we go into the corner, both with good lines out of there. There's TY. Neil Farmack now catching right up to the back of the Aston Martins. Gotta wait till we get through this corner, and then the LMP1s will just pull to one side and go straight past. Rodders pulling to one side. What's he doing? He's blocking off the LMP1 cars. That's not the line. You're supposed to move a lot more to the left than that from the normal racing line, Rodders. But whew, oh, that was close. Rodders clearly making a statement there. I don't care if you guys are going to try and pass or not. You're going to get round me. Which, yes, I know that's true, but still, Rodders should have really kept to the left-hand side there, kept on the racing line. That wasn't the racing line, that was plain scale extra with the white line. But going down towards Arnage then, Neil and Jamo, as we look at Callum and Bidzster, and they're catching Techno, so Techno's going to get mugged here by a bunch of LMP1 cars. So Techno just keeps to one side. He's gonna might as well do that, because then the other cars will get past him and be able to move back onto his racing line. And easy as that. So good job there from Techno as they all these three come through here. Now I wonder what the pit strategy is going to be. It's either in this lap or in the next lap, and then that's it. That's the pit window closed. Very short pit window this, because of the number of laps in this race being so small. Meanwhile in GTE. Seat 1 is in the pits, Techno's still going round, Rodders is there as well, so Techno's really low on fuel, so he's going to have to come in this lap as well. And see what the LP1 boys do. Bidzster's in! Oh, Bidzster's in very fast! Bidzster's in really fast there, and then Callum and TY, so all three of the top ones in the pits. Look at TY's fuel though, he's actually saved more fuel than the rest. Bidzster's actually used more, Callum's used a bit less, so this will be really close. Neil's into the pit lane as well. And then also, so all the LMP1 boys choosing to pit on that same lap. So everyone, apart from Task 1, choosing to do it. So Task 1 now is coming through the Porsche curves. He's catching up to Stacker here. He's got to wait behind Stacker now. He's not going to make it through. Oh, wow, risky stuff there. Almost takes Stacker off the road. So Task 1 needs to learn to be a bit more patient in traffic here. Almost takes Stacker off the road. Let's check on these pit stops then. There's Bidzster, Callum, Neil Farmack still having his tyres changed. There's Jamo now, they've got the fuel going in. TY's there as well. So we'll have to see how this goes. Seat 1 in then is now in front of Rodders. Seat 1 in front of Rodders, but Rodders will have to pit again. So that's going to be, that's probably going to not help Rodders then. So obviously Seat 1 strategy looks like it's worked out a bit better. And now the LMP1 boys coming out of the pit lane. We've got Callum ahead from TY's jumped Bidzster. TY's jumped his teammate, and then Task 1's in 4th, Neil Farmack 5th, Jamo in 6th. So, but again, Task 1, I know Task 1's got to pit again, but with the pace that he could actually go in this, watch this space with Task 1. Neil Farmack in 5th, Jamo's down to 6th, so longer pit stop for him. Stacker and Co there, so Stacker's come out in front of Techno. So we'll get the proper order for you after this next lap, because then that'll sort out the pit windows properly as we go down the straight then. Callum, TY and Bidzster all following each other. We go down the straight, TY in front of Bidzster. Bidzster obviously quite happy to stick behind his teammate for now. So TY back in this race. After falling back a bit as he goes over the curb there. Callum goes out the corner, and again this is where they'll slow down. They're not picking up speed very much, they're going very slow indeed. And then there's Task 1, he's catching up to him now. You can see him closing in the background, closing. 190 mile an hour compared to 170 mile an hour, so you can really tell that all them are saving fuel for later on in the race. Task 1 does not give a monkeys. He wants to use up all his fuel and then have a quick splash and dash towards the end. We'll see how this goes. You look out of here, watch. Task 1 will keep the wick turned up. These lot will turn the wick down just to try and save more fuel. And here we go. Task 1's going to come up. He might even pass all three before the next bit. Comes up behind Bidzster, pulls out. He's going to pass them all before the next corner. There he is, he's in the lead already. That just shows you the different strategies and the saving fuel. Once you turn the engine right down, it takes about 80 or 90 horsepower off the engine, and you can save a lot more fuel. Obviously that means less speed. And look, Rodders and Seat 1 having a nice battle here, and then they've got these LMP1s closing right upon them. But they're side by side having their own little battle, so this is going to be fun to see how all these are going to get through here. As we look in the background, TY and Callum there, and they've got Bidzster trying to go through the middle, make it 3 wide. Bidzster goes straight through the middle, turns the wick up. He wants to try and get behind Task 1 and follow him, I think, or maybe just get past into the lead of that group. So we'll see what his thinking was there. But Rodders and Seat 1 there as he goes. Gets caught behind the other cars, and Callum goes one side, Seat 1 goes the other, and TY trying to get past as well into Arnage. It's all a clutter of cars. It's insane. Rodders and the other car go a bit wide, and TY goes through, Bidzster goes through, so Rodders and Seat they get absolutely mugged. But fair play by the LMP1 cars. They did give the GT cars space, as now Bidzster tries to get back in front. He's clearly got the wick turned up. He wants to be at the front of this pack. I wonder if Bidzster's going to try and catch up with Task 1 and let him pull him round, so we'll have to see what happens here. But Bidzster, yeah, got the power down. He's definitely making a break for it. Bidzster pushing now. Making a break for it. He wants to catch Task 1 up. Callum and TY hopefully will try and go with him. Look, yeah, they're all pushing now as they go out of those corners. Towards the Ford chicane, there's Task 1 going through, and here's Bidzster. Yep, he's throwing that car around now, so he's pushing that car to try and get close to Task 1 over the curbs, twitch at the corner, power on. And yeah, look, he's catching up to Task 1. Meanwhile, Callum and TY still close to each other, but they're out of drafting range from Bidzster now. Bidzster trying to keep with Task 1 here. So good thinking here by Bidzster. Close up to the back of Task 1 and then use his draft to try and save fuel and also pull him along with more speed as well. So good strategy here by Bidzster. We'll have to see if it pays off, but we'll have to see if Callum and TY can actually catch up as well. Meanwhile, Neil Farmack in 5th place, Jamo in 6th. Seat 1 in the lead of GTE then. Rodders into the pits with fresh tyres and more fuel. Techno's going to come through here. So let's see what Techno's going to do. So Techno into 2nd place in class. Rodders in the pit lane. Stacker is in, and Firepower goes through. So Firepower not going into the pits again. So all a bit confusing there in the GTE class. We go back to the LP1s. Bidzster, Callum, TY. So Bidzster now right up behind Task 1. So he's obviously wanting Task 1 to pull him along, because Task 1's just going to keep that wick turned up. Bidzster's going to try and stay with him. I think Callum's out of the drafting range of Bidzster here. So there goes Bidzster through. There goes Callum. Actually, it might be in the draft, because look at the speed of Callum. He is in the draft still, so Bidzster's not broke away just yet. But he's going to try and follow Task 1 and try and get him to pull him along. There's Neil Farmack, and there's Jamo. He's fallen back, so he obviously had a few slower laps. A few mistakes probably. There's Seat 1, the leader in GTE. Techno in 2nd in class. So the LMP1 pit stops are all done. The mandatory pit stops are now closed for the LMP1. But looks like Task 1 towards the end of the race might have to make another splash and dash, so we'll see how things go. So Task 1 from Bidzster, Callum, TY and Neil Farmack. Jamo in 6th place in class. The leader in GTE is Seat 1. He's leading that one. Techno in 8th place with Rodders and Firepower closing right down on him. So you can see Techno there saving fuel a bit more. Rodders pulls out to overtake. Firepower in the draft as well, so all quite close in the GTE class. When you go down towards the next chicane, Firepower's going to go through on Techno as well, so Techno clearly trying a different strategy in this race. And obviously I don't think the medium tyres are helping him at all as well. He should have really gone on the softs as Firepower loses the back end of the car into the chicane. Well held though, good recovery there. The key to making mistakes is a good recovery, so well done to Firepower there, good recovery there. As we go down to the down the 3rd straight down towards the Mulsanne corner. Looks like Firepower's going for the move here as well. But he doesn't bother. He decides to back off in the draft and get rid of a bit of a penalty. Because this track really bites on penalties on this one, even with the penalties being on weak. There's still bite as Techno goes wide there, and Firepower gets a good run. He's side by side with him, and I would imagine he'll go through with the engine turned up a bit more. Yes, he does. And now he's going to try and follow his teammate in 3rd place, and Rodders is in 2nd. Meanwhile, at the front then, Bidzster right behind Task 1 into the Ford chicane, but again, not wanting to make a move yet. Still saving fuel towards the end of the race. Task 1 half a tank, Bidzster 3/4, so that could make the difference between winning and losing this race. As we go into the chicane then, into the Dunlop chicane. TY still staying with him, so no change yet. Again, this is going to be about strategy for a few laps, and then hopefully the last few laps we'll see a few people bolt and bomb it. So we'll see what's going to happen in this race. You can see the marker boards on the gravel there, so clearly a few cars hitting them in the race. Bidzster, fastest first sector, closes right up to the back of Task 1, and now he'll save fuel. Now he'll stick with the draft, he'll save fuel and stick behind Task 1. Close as you like. Let's have a look back from Task 1's car. That's the view he's got in his rear view. That Audi behind him of Bidzster onto the brakes into the chicane in a minute. There we go. Slowing down into the chicane, and then gets on the power. And building up through the gears in the diesel Audi, diesel hybrid. One of the most economical cars of its time. There we go. Down the straight. Bidzster again quite happy to turn the wick down and stay in that draft. You can see Callum doing the same behind as well. So everyone choosing their own little strategies in this race. Into the 2nd chicane then. Brilliant speed from these LMP1 cars. Such an immersive sense of speed as Callum closes up on Bidzster there, who runs ever so slightly deep into the corner. But again, with Task 1's draft, that'll not be too much of a hindrance for him. Down the straight we go, down towards Mulsanne corner. Again, everyone there. Callum looks out for a little bit of a move maybe, but no. Just pulling out the draft a little bit to help with the braking. More aerodynamics over the bodywork to push down on the downforce to help it stop. Let's have a look further back then. So Neil Farmer just coming out of Mulsanne corner. Jamo just going into it. So Jamo clearly struggling in this 2nd stint. His lap times are about a couple of seconds off the pace of what he was on before. So clearly Jamo not liking this 2nd set of tyres. Meanwhile, in GTE, Seek won with an absolutely commanding lead in GTE. So his strategy definitely working in this one. Well, good job to him. He's at the 2nd chicane. Meanwhile, his fellow compatriots at the 1st chicane. There's Rodders from Firepower. So Jorex, Aston Martin 2 and 3. Then we've got Techno in the Porsche. He's just coming onto the straight out of Tetra Rouge, and he's just done another pit stop. So he's just done his last pit stop. We're just in his pit window because now the GT pit window is closed. There's Stacker, he's in 11th. He's struggling a bit with this one, but hopefully all the best for the next race. Meanwhile, the LMP1 boys still as close as ever through the Porsche curves. Out of the Porsche curves now, and then through the little Corvette curves here, the little kink right and left, the little Corvette curves, and then down towards the Ford chicane. Into the Ford chicane we go. Still pushing on hard. Task 1 still not pitting yet. Wonder if he'll pit. Oh, he made a mistake there, but Bidzster closes up. But again, he'll not want to pass him because otherwise he'll not get no draft and not be able to save any fuel. So I would imagine we're not going to be far off the stage where someone might break away and go for it here. So we'll have to see. I would imagine Bidzster will wait until Task 1 goes into the pits and then bolt, save some more fuel, then use it up all on these last 2 laps. So we'll see how things go here. There's TY on the back of this train. There's TY in the 000 car. The ARC cars, look, the liveries are really good on this. You can see Task 1 and Callum gone for some old school proper replica liveries. So we've got the red Audi and the yellow Audi as well, as Callum now fed up of staying behind Bidzster and wants to get behind his teammates. So Callum now trying to switch up and play mind games with Bidzster now. Wanting to try and catch up to his teammate, and hopefully his teammate will help him pull him along. But we'll have to see. He's right behind his teammates, so obviously we're on full wick there. Callum trying to catch up, and now he's turned the mix down a bit. Now he's behind him, unless he's wanting to go for the lead and try and break away now. But I do think it might be a bit early with the fuel that's left, because look at Callum's fuel, then look at Bidzster's fuel. Callum goes for the lead then, he's fed up and staying behind his teammate, he's going for it, but Bidzster said, alright then mate, I'll go with you, but I'll still stay behind you and save fuel. There's TY now wondering what's happening, he's going to have to try and catch up, he's lower on fuel than the rest of them. So let's have a look at the fuel gauges, guys. Oh, look at Callum's slide. Never mind the fuel gauges, look at the slide on the Callum's car out of that corner. Brilliant stuff, well held. But let's look at the fuel gauges a minute, guys. That's Callum's fuel gauge at the bottom left. We're going to swap to Bidzster now. He's got a lot more in the tank. He's got over half in the tank there. Then we're going to swap to Task 1. So TY then, he's got over half. And then Task 1 with a lot less fuel. So the two Arts cars, definitely a lot more into the saving fuel than others. And Callum clearly thinking now he's got enough left. So we'll have to see how this goes. So Callum definitely ahead of this group now. Again, Bidzster will quite happy to stay behind him, save fuel, because he knows that if Callum keeps doing this, he's going to have to pit for more fuel or really slow down and save a lot. So this is where the race gets interesting as Bidzster gets right behind Callum now. Will Bidzster break off or will he wait? We'll have to see. I do think, looking at the gauges from an outside perspective, that Callum has gone too early. But only time will tell as we go out of Arnage down towards the Porsche curves. Meanwhile, there's Neil Farmack. He's got probably the same amount as Callum has, and then Jamo saving a bit more there. Meanwhile, in GTE Seat 1 then, with half a tank left, he's way ahead. He's about 30 seconds ahead of his fellow compatriots, Rodders and Firepower, the two Aston Martins. Firepower catching up to Rodders a bit here, so clearly Firepower wanting to close in. But look at the fuel on Firepower's car, he might have to put some more fuel at this rate. There's Techno. He's definitely going to be okay to the end. And then Stacker, he's going to be definitely okay to the end as well. And meanwhile, back with the leaders then down towards the Ford chicane. Look at Callum's fuel, just above a quarter to get 2 laps left out of his car. I don't think he's going to do it, whereas Bidzster definitely thinks he's going to do it. He's now pulling out. Bidzster, oh, Task 1's lost it in the background. Task 1's lost it into the wall. That's his race done. He's made a mistake, and he'll probably have to pit again anyway. So unlucky for him, or he might be able to last till the end, we never know. But here we go, Bidzster into the chicane, trying to go for Callum now. Bidzster in attack mode, TY following him. Again, no team orders in that Team Art team. Not yet, not at this stage of the season. We'll have to see how the rest of the championship pans out. There's no point in doing team orders this early in the championship. Might as well let them fight for it at first. As we go on to the straight then, there is a GTE car that we're approaching, so that could help Callum out. As Bidzster pulls out now, Bidzster pulls out and takes the lead, but he's going to use the draft of that GTE car as well. So Bidzster now clearly turning the wick up, wanting to go for it. Boom! Right out behind from Stacker. Uses all the draft he can. TY following him now. TY and Bidzster with the half the tanks in their cars. Callum with just above quarter, so we'll have to see what happens here. So the two Art cars now will definitely try and pull away. Here we go. This is where the real racing starts. Bidzster on it now. TY closing in. Callum trying to close in as well. But again, look, Callum's having to back off. Look at the speed of TY, 182. And then Callum is closing, but that's probably draft, not fuel mix. This is going to be a good finish to this race. Neil Farmack in 4th place, Task 1 down to 5th because that mistake from earlier, Stereo passing Stacker. Jamo's turning on the wick now as well. So this race really heating up here. As we go out of the second chicane down towards Mulsanne corner, let's have a look at the GT boys. Firepower then in 8th, Rodders in down to 9th, so Rodders goes back a position there. But look at Firepower's fuel. Firepower will definitely have to pit this lap, otherwise he's not going to make it round. Rodders might go in and top up as well, so we'll have to see what's going to happen here. Techno could be in for a gifted 2nd place here if he can get close enough, but we'll see. There's the LPB boys out. TY slowing right down there. So TY's made a mistake somewhere. We missed that. So some kind of mistake happened there. We'll get a replay. So as we come back from that then, Bidzster pulls away from Callum then. So Bidzster made a little mistake. TY and Callum both followed him, but TY obviously coming off worse. And TY going right back now, and he's out of the draft, so he's got to really try and catch up now. But Bidzster will be putting his foot down. Callum trying to as well. Just about having enough for one more flying lap maybe in the tanks at the minute. We'll see in the GTE boys. T1's in the lead. Firepower and Rodders both go into the pits to top up for the last few laps. So will Techno be able to take advantage here? So this is going to be quite a close outcome as well. But just while they're going down the pit lane, we'll just go back to the LMP1 boys. So there's Bidzster coming through the Porsche curves. Pushing, pushing, pushing now. There's Callum following him. There's TY. Trying to catch up to his teammate. Brilliant stuff here. Go down to the chicane. So again, this is going to be the last lap of the race that they're going to start now. Callum with a lot less fuel than the other two, so the other two will definitely be able to keep it on mix one all the way through this lap. Callum might have to preserve a little bit. Let's have a look at how the GT boys have come out the pits. Techno is in second place. Rodders back down to third. Firepower in fourth. So the two team. Why have they filled the cars up that much? There's not that many laps left because they've got the leaders catching up to them. They might as well just put half a tank in. But never mind. We've lost a lot of time there. As Bidzster goes round, Bidzster gets round the traffic. Rodders there. Firepower with Callum behind now. So Callum's stuck behind the Durex Aston Martin. TY closes right up. They both go past him now. Hurrying past him before the next corner. Firepower goes wide as a result, so obviously a bit spooked by them too, but still no harm done. As we go down the straight then, TY and Callum close together. Bidzster's got away now. As we try and get back to the camera, sorry about that. Bidzster now with a brilliant gap there because he got through the traffic. Good timing on the traffic there by Bidzster, and that's giving him a gap. Callum now with TY all over the back of him. But look at Callum's fuel, he's going to have to preserve a bit on this last lap. TY now on the attack in the art car. Into the first chicane. Out of it. Down the straight. Neil Farmack there in fourth. He's closed up on the two Aston Martins as well. Let's look at TY and Callum then. The battle on track to watch at the minute. Callum coming down. TY in the draft. Really, really close behind him. And pulls out to the side. Callum defends the inside. TY looking to go around the outside and get the inside for the next bit. But Callum just holds on. But again, Callum's really got to watch that fuel because look, it's almost down at the bottom. He's only got 1/8 of a tank left for one lap, or for maybe just over half a lap, so we'll have to see how that goes. Meanwhile, there's Neil Farmack closed up on Rodders and Firepower as well, getting passed by Jamo in the background. So Jamo and Task One's obviously had to slow right down and look at the fuel. He's having to really preserve fuel here, so Task One's not going to do a very good finish here. So Task One, look at the fuel, he's going to have to preserve all the rest of the lap. So unlucky for him, so that's him down in last place. I don't see him catching up. Jamo's really low on fuel as well, so actually that could be a close one as well. Really running things low here. Firepower, Rodders goes off. Rodders goes off, and then, so was he hit? I don't know. We'll get a quick replay. Okay, here's a replay on board with Jamo to see what happened to Rodders. So we're going down to this next corner here. Then we're going to look back, and then we're going onto the brakes. Brake. Rodders brakes way too late and then ends up taking himself off. We were just about to avoid Jamo, but yeah, Rodders just braked too late and took himself off. So as we come back from that then, TY and Callum have not finished with each other yet. Bidzster's just ahead. So Bidzster clearly just slowing up a bit, just trying to preserve the car to the end. TY's past Callum. TY's past Callum. Got him on the inside. So TY's got Callum on the inside as you come out of Arnage. Last time up towards the Porsche curves for the final time. Bidzster there, he's ahead. There's TY, second place. Callum third, he'll not want to give up. Yes, he's only got a speck of fuel left, but who cares at this stage of the race? Just get to the line as fast as you can. Porsche curves. Bidzster in the lead, TY second. Callum wanting to be second. Harassing TY all the way through, but there's not many gaps through here at all. Through these left rights, through the final Porsche curve, which is really, really hard corner to master. TY goes through, followed by Callum. This is going to be a close finish, but Bidzster's coming up to the chicane. He's going to win. TY's going to really have to defend from Callum here into the last chicane. TY defends and goes up the other way. Callum tries to get through, but I don't think he's going to get it. TY makes a mistake. Callum hits him on the back. Bidzster wins. Bidzster wins. It's going to be Callum and TY. Oh, TY just from Callum. Brilliant race there. Bidzster takes victory. Well done to him. TY second. Callum third. What a finish. And we're not done yet. Jamo looking up the inside of Neil Farmack. Oh, there's a touch. Oh, wow. And Neil Farmack gets on with it. Jamo close up behind. So Neil fourth. Jamo fifth. Task One in sixth place for LMP1. C1's going to take the victory in GTE, but we'll have to wait for him to finish because he's halfway around the lap. Techno second in GTE. Firepower's going to be third because Rodders threw it away with that mistake earlier. Third place for Firepower, the leading Durex car. Well done. Brilliant race by him. Clearly Rodders didn't use enough protection at that other corner and ended up back in 10th place, so it's his 4th in class, and Stacker's going to be 5th in class there as well. Seek 1 is going to be the victor in GTE, so well done to him. He's still going around on his final lap, but we all know he's won by now, so Seek 1 definitely winning that one, and Task 1 at the back. So we'll just get those results confirmed for you now, guys. Okay guys, here's the results from that one then. So Bidzster takes the win in that one from TY in 2nd position, so Team Art 1-2, but a very close finish between TY and Callum. TY gets 2nd from Callum in 3rd. Then it's Neil in 4th, Jamo finishes in 5th, again that was another close finish there as well. Task 1 gets 6th place. And the winner in GTE is Seek 1, well done to Seek 1, he wins GTE with a comprehensive lead over Techno in 2nd place. Then it's Firepower behind him. Rodders finishes in 10th overall, in 4th in class, and then Stacker rounds off the rest in the GTE. Fastest lap of the race goes to Bidzster then in the Audi R18, a 3:24.7. So as we come back from that then, there's your winner in GTE, who's still trying to actually get round to the line because everyone else is still finished. So Seek 1 takes victory in that one then, well done to him in GTE, and then in the LMP1 in Division 1, Bidzster takes victory in Division 1. So well done to him in the Audi, there he is. So we'll see you guys for race 2. Take care guys.